Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Heroes of the Storm Power Hour. It is so good to see you guys. I'm your host, Twiz, and I'm not sure exactly how it is that you got here, whether you're watching this on YouTube or you're downloading the audio on iTunes, but it is certainly awesome that you are here to hang out with us. I am not alone on this show whatsoever. I have several co-hosts who are the meat and potatoes of why I exist. So let me just make a few quick introductions. First and foremost, I'm really going to accent this one because he is the spit, gum, and glue of Blizz Pro, and it would not be a week if he did not hit me with a joke of some sort. So Eldorian, welcome back for another week. What you got going on, brother?
Hey, Twiz, so do you want to hear a joke about construction?
Construction. Sure, I'll hear a joke about construction. Hit me.
Never mind, I'm still working on it.
Oh my god.
Is it like that pylon still
I made a point.
On, the Lake Seas Avoid
Speaking of construction, I made a point to walk into that wall. So, anyways, just below him we have the back for 2 weeks in a row. I'm excited. I love seeing his face on camera. It's the one and only Mr. Nineball Gamer. Hello, brother.
What's going on? Hoping to keep this chain going.
I know, dude. You're on a win streak. Keep it happening. So just below him, we have the man who has one job, who was not happy about having to turn his fan off in his room. I saw it on his face. He's got his fighting hair in one job. It's the 3 Viking Wrecking Crew, Mr. DJ Tyrant.
Good to be back. How are our chatters? How are you doing?
I hope they're good. I hope
they all
good.
responded great, Jimmy.
Yeah. We'll know in about 30 seconds when they hear that and they respond in the chat room.
Exactly.
So, last but not least, the brains behind the operation, the shot caller, Mr. Balrog Fan BP. Hey, brother.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, bud. Good.
Oh, I have one thing.
Yes.
One thing. Type 1 in chat if I should go buy a Blackheart's doubloon.
Okay, there you go. Let's light it up, guys. Light it up. So. So
all for Jimmy spending his gold recklessly.
Hey, real quick, for those of you who are watching this, either in the chat room or on YouTube, there is a weird sync thing going on with Skype and the audio and stuff like that. I've been doing some search on the forums and whatever. I think I might have it dialed in, but I'm not 100% sure. I didn't want to go screwing with Skype just before the show started and then come to find out Skype doesn't work and we have to cancel the show. So if you can put up with a little bit of audio-video lag or non-syncing, then life is going to be good. So we didn't want to go all out on the introductions. We want to save as much time as possible so that way we can still get into the second portion of the show. But we are going to be diving into the patch notes that have recently come out. Very excited. There's a whole bunch changing, a whole bunch going on, and we're going to discuss them almost at length. And kind of see what we think of them and pick them apart a little bit. But real quick, I just want to know: is there anything, guys, that you had going on in game that was just outstanding, like a farmer outstanding in his field?
Yep.
I played a bunch of Hero League on Sunday, and I went from 41 to 33, and I got to play a lot of games with Aya, one of our patrons, and he's become a really good friend of the show, and he's a really great player. So it was really fun to duo queue with him and wreck face.
He's awesome. I played several games with him this week as well too. And again, yes, he is one of our patrons, and that is one of the things that we promise. If you are a patron of the Heroes Power Hour, guys, we want you on our friends list. We want to be gaming with you. We want to play Hearthstone. We want to play Heroes of the Storm. We want to play WoW. We want to play whatever we can with you to hang out and make more friends and build relationships and stuff like that. So patreon.com/heroespowerhour if that's something that interests you. The only other thing that I have to talk about is I have kind of deeply fallen in love with Sonya a bit over the past week, and so I'm going to be playing her in the second half of the show tonight. And so you guys can stick around for that.
I'll throw one thing in here too, if you don't mind. Tomorrow on Heroes Hype, our team Chug Interrupted, led by our patron Zexrus, we will be making a debut there. We will try to do our best to not misrepresent our awesome skills, but we may get blown up by something that we're not ready for.
No.
So.
You know what?
I plan on going in and winning the whole thing, and
of course,
retiring.
As you should.
That's what's important.
As you should. Yeah, absolutely. So, no, I have faith in you, young Padawan.
But come check us out, support us, give us some love. If
are you gonna be streaming it?
It'll be on heroeshype.com. I mean, I won't be streaming it because it'll probably ruin my computer and cause me to have lag in a key important moment. But Heroes Hype will be streaming it, and you can check it out there. Usually, Kai Berries and Anna Prosser are the
Gillyweed and Anna Prosser.
Gillyweed still does the...
I believe so.
Oh, my mistake. I thought she was busy with her Blizzard duties.
We'll see. I don't think the caster's set for tomorrow, so we'll see. To be
sometimes you host it, Jimmy. Or you
I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I got the cast last week with Shamtu, and that was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Dude, that is really good. Good for you, man. Good for you. So it's
Thank
nice
you.
to see that, like, guys, you pay attention to things that are going on in the Heroes of the Storm world. You're seeing these faces out here that you're seeing on this show, and I am super proud to be associated with those faces. So no doubt in my mind, yeah, all the love in the world. So
I did want to point out one more thing real quick.
Jimmy, I just got done complimenting you, man. This is where you just sit tight and just don't say anything and soak it in.
If you're curious about the future of Heroes of the Storm esports, I was able to conduct an interview with Kim Fan over at Blizzard when we were in Vegas, and it's on the Hero site, heroesofthestorm.blizzpro.com. Just check it out. I would really appreciate you checking it out and give me feedback on the interview. It was a lot of fun, and I think we got some good answers out of her.
Cool. Absolutely. All there's like 1.6 million reasons to be going to heroesofthestorm.blizzpro.com. So anyways, guys, let's jump into these patch notes. Now, again, these are all PTR patch notes and stuff like that. Some things may change, some things may not, but we made the mistake last time there was a big patch coming out where we talked on and on and on and on, and then when it was time to talk the patch notes, it was like, oh my god, we don't have enough time. So I want to jump into these this patch note extravaganza as soon as possible. One of the things topping it off, and we're not going to sit here and read patch notes word for word. I mean, you can go and do that yourself. But we want to bring up definitely some of the high points, some of the things to really be on the lookout for, and know going into the PTR that this has changed now, and likely the majority of it is going to go live. So, and I believe that they're shooting for October 6th, which is next Tuesday, for this to go hot. So, anyways,
yeah, for the most part, most of the stuff does seem to be what hits the following week. There's usually adjustments take place after, and this is typically the gospel, unless something usually this is more of a bug fix.
Sure.
This week on the PTR, but I mean there could be changes.
Okay, all right. Well, obviously, let's address the elephant in the room. The newest hero got announced, and that is Lieutenant Morales. And she has been. I've watched several streams of people in the PTR testing her. She looks like an animal. Like, she just looks insane. One of the things that I do notice is that a lot of players get mana starved with her. I've seen on several occasions where it's like, oh, we're in the middle of a team fight, and guess who has no mana? But yet when it's not important, she's full on, full up. So and then she's got her heroic ability, the medevac dropship, aka the feed bus. And, and I watched so many people drop the feed bus right in the middle of, they're like, oh, let's go after their boss, and they drop it on their boss, and the other team's just like, hey, guess who's here ready for you?
See, that's a thing where you have to bait it. Like, I've been thinking about this quite a bit. Like, taking Brightwing and taking her together, or taking Falstad and taking her together. Like, picture yourself, you poke Falstad's head out bottom lane, or Brightwing's head out bottom lane in Blackheart's Bay. Your whole team, the team tries to go for a gank on you. Let's say they're by turn-in or something. There's definitely situations where you can medevac up to the boss, take the boss, and then Brightwing or Falstad flies to your team, denying them anything really out of it, and then you get a free boss. I mean, there's definitely... You're going to have to be wary when she's on the field and they take medevac, because there's a lot of bait potential plays that could really ruin you in the mid-game.
Oh, I see. I went a total different direction. I thought about getting Brightwing in the medevac and having Brightwing use her ult as soon as she gets there to blow everybody away.
That's also good. I mean, yeah. I just worry about flying into danger with the medevac. I like it to cover distance, to check things. I mean, I think she's going to be neat. I have a hard time placing her as a solo support just because she can't heal herself.
Yeah.
And any good team is just going to go, all right, we'll go dive comp and just focus her because she has no way to like protect herself.
Right. The best she's got is a grenade knockback and to shield herself. And
can she shield herself? Because the way it reads is grant target ally.
She can.
Yeah, she can.
Okay. That I was unsure
She
of.
can, which is also weird because Healing Beam says heal an ally, and she can't use that on herself.
Yeah.
And Safeguard, grant target ally. So, you know, it's a weird thing. But, yeah, I suppose you kind of have to play her a little bit like Tychus.
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, you have to...
in that if your little sprint thing is on cooldown, pretty much your grenades are the only thing that's going to keep your enemies away from you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she's interesting. She's definitely interesting. I think the key for playing against her is definitely focusing her out, though.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. As with most of the fights. I mean, when you've got when you're playing against a Lily or a Monk or whatever, you know, those are usually the people that you take out of the equation as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And they're usually the hardest to get to.
Yeah, they're arguably harder to get to, also because they have better escapes and they can heal themselves and they have better displacement. Even though she has a has a grenade called Displacement Grenade, I don't think it's going to be as helpful in keeping herself safe when she's focused. But I don't know. It all remains to be seen. Just going in blind, I would definitely say focus her down.
Okay. On the we're gonna get into the meat and the potatoes of the shop and the gameplay and the buffs and the nerfs and stuff like that, but just some things to keep an eye out for. If you're a big Murky fan, there's a new egg overlay that's been added. All sorts of excitement there. Charism's received some animation updates. Uther's received updated cloth physics, which by God, I have been waiting for that for a while now. I've been thinking to myself,
oh yeah,
the cloth physics on Uther just are suboptimal. But
well,
no
now
longer.
With the new cloth physics on the lumberjack, it's very scary.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, if Blizzard wasn't gonna fix this, then I would call this a trash patch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It pretty much made the patch. That and
both asked for change in a.
I did see the egg overlay on Reddit. It looks pretty cool. It's kind of like the Stitches Gorge overlay, where it just suddenly, like when you're spawning from the egg, your whole screen is just kind of gross and dripping, and it looks like there's an egg surrounding you.
Looks like you're coming out of an egg. That's cool.
Yeah,
that is a cool.
Pretty
thing.
awesome.
Speaking of overlays, now when the loading screen happens, you can see everyone's load timers, and you get to yell at people who take forever to load.
You get to see who has the wooden computer until you find out it was you this whole time.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna get exposed.
But also on the loading screen, you also see the other team, what you're going to be up against immediately. Which
so if you're like me, you forget exactly.
Picks. Go ahead.
You forget exactly what they picked, and you're like, "Wait, what did the team just pick?"
Yeah.
Even in Hero League, I forget.
Or if you're like me and you forget what I picked.
Yeah. You know what though? That's so exciting to sit there and look on the left-hand side and say, "Which one am I wonder." How cool is that? Now, I wonder also if you pick random, if you pick a random hero, if it shows random or if it shows the hero that they selected for you.
I actually have no idea, but
if it's using the same tech that StarCraft 2 does, it will just show random until you're actually in the match.
You can actually get Artanis, or not who's the StarCraft
Artanis.
warrior coming out? Artanis, yeah.
Yep.
You can actually get him in the PTR right now if you select random.
Yeah, you have to have pre-ordered Legacy of the Void though, but yeah, you can get him.
So pretty much, you guys think he's going to be the free hero you get with Legacy of the Void?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's been announced already.
Was it announced? I missed everything. I've been out of the internet loop for like literally 2 days, which is sad because I did Twizcast last night.
This almost makes me wonder: are they going to be releasing Artanis as well next week?
No, that's for the 28th.
I don't think so.
It's slotted for the 28th. Also, the parrot mount dude. Why am I drawing a blank? Yeah,
Falsehead skin.
That's going to be on the 28th. There's a lot of really cool stuff that's coming out on the 28th on that patch, and that Artanis is slotted to be with that as well. So. Lots of cool stuff to look forward to. And last but not least, Tyrael and the Archangel of Wrath form, the trait, has got a little bit more visual polish too. So get the F excited over that.
Thank God.
Right.
I will say, like, these little adjustments are cool. Like, I've noticed a lot more sound that they've added into the game of random interactions or just random comments that that somebody will have in regards to someone else. Like, I'd never heard this before until, like, 2 days ago. Tychus was standing there. I was dueling Lily, and then Lily ran off, and then Tychus just goes, dozed off there for a second. Did I just see a panda? Like, that's just something that's a specific interaction that I had no idea they added. They keep adding little stuffs like that, little polishes, little things that you just kind of scroll past, but when you notice them in game, you do appreciate it.
Yeah, and that now there's a indicator if your fountain is off cooldown. It's right by your portrait now, so you don't have to scroll over to the fountain to
look at the timer.
That. Yeah,
little creature comforts. Little creature comforts.
Super helpful.
Sweet.
It's small things, but let's look at changes that actually are changing the meta of the game, or could potentially. There's a couple changes to a couple of the battlegrounds. Battlefield of Eternity, they're ramping up the Immortals damage after 11 minutes and after 16 minutes, which I feel like is okay. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, I mean, the late game Immortals were weak. Like, Battlefield of Eternity could take a long time if both teams were stalling. Mm-hmm. If you were just playing the defend game, you could be there forever. And then by the time you got the Immortal, like, it was so unimpactful compared to how hard you had to work to get it. So I'm glad to see it scale. Yeah,
that was the only change there. Oh, on Garden of Terror, I think this is actually pretty exciting and a little crazy on the overtuning side, maybe. Overgrowth, when you're in the Garden Terror, now disables the enemy core and health increases longer the game progresses. So, like, late game Garden Terrors are just going to be almost unstoppable, it seems like.
Wow.
Yeah, taking down the Overgrowth is going to be a lot harder.
Absolutely.
The thing is, right now, people defend with it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was one of the developer comments on the patch notes. Yeah.
My favorite thing was the Sky Temple change.
Events in which all 3 temples activate simultaneously will no longer occur.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good because late game, if you're behind and 3 temples spawn, you're basically dead.
Yeah, because you can take 2 of the temples, but the third one is still going to kill you. So it's like one of those ones where it's how can you possibly defend against this?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. Infernal Shrines gain changed a little bit. Punisher is health is getting a little decreased. The now it will leap to the nearest enemy hero within range rather than selecting one at random. And the skeletal defenders you have to kill is increased from 30 to 40. Just some really nice quality of life changes for that map. That map has always felt snowbally, and this should help with that.
And it's also nice that the Punisher's not going to jump, 3/4 of the way across the map to rail on a fleeing Nazeebo.
Yeah, it was one of the few It was one of the few maps where, like, you're always playing, like, if you're playing well, you're playing in position. Your tanks are in front. Your range and support are behind, and it just felt so bad when, like, your tanks are in front and you see a Punisher do a horse leap over your tank and land on Jaina and just start punching her in the mouth. It's like,
oh my god.
Well, I guess my positioning and my skills I've learned on how to play this game are all thrown out the window when a Punisher's around.
Yeah.
Also interesting is the skeletal defenders, which you have to kill to get the Punisher. They no longer will be taking increased damage from abilities and talents that deal bonus damage to minions. So that's interesting.
Well, that's because Night takes pawn owned on those.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just walk into the center of it and it's like, I got 10. I'm now to 20.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there is one small thing we glossed over, which I just want to touch on, and that's the try mode. You can now there is a target dummy in the try mode where you can practice your DPS, and it will give you an on-screen display that will track the damage per second and the total damage dealt to the dummy.
Really?
Now, this is really helpful for, like, nerds like me, my friend Digitality, anyone who just really wants to figure out what build brings you the most, what flow of abilities lets you maximize your damage totals, and
now, you see, I would think that would be a little bit... I'm really surprised that they would do that, because they give you talent options to be able to diversify your hero in the middle of the game or at the beginning of the game, depending on what your comp is and what the other team's comp is. Like, for example, Sergeant Hammer. You know, I could sit there and I could beat on this dummy and maximize my damage to see what it is and everything like that. But at level 1, you know, or you know, I might go with at level 1, I might go with the talent that reduces the stuns and everything like that, as opposed to something else. And because you have to pick certain talents over other ones because of the comp you're facing, it's like, that's great that I can see which build is the most damage, but it's very misleading because then players are just going to say, well, that's the cookie cutter that you you know.
Well, those are people who are being dumb. Like,
well, and there's none of those around here. Like, but that's the thing. That's the thing, Charlie. Is there's you know, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and yes, we call them dumb, but they're uneducated and they're lazy. And what they want to do is find the cookie cutter builds. That way, they don't have to think. So that way, when they lose, they can say, "Well, it's not my fault. I had the right build."
Well, yeah, then that's fine. They can. I mean, they can feel that way, and there are going to be people out there educating themselves, though, and this allows you to do that. Like, now I can know what sacrificing a support type pick, like going stealth or reducing things, means when I go into a late game. How much damage have I fallen off? Like, did I only fall off like 30 damage, 20 damage per second, or 5 damage per second? You know, like you get an idea of what you're giving up to get maximum damage. And then you can play around with that. Like, okay, I want Giant Killer here. What's that like? Versus taking Frost arrows on Valor or whatever. You know, it allows you to have information, and I'm all for that.
Sure. Yeah, I see 100% of the professional player base utilizing it for that purpose, and I see 6% of the average player base using that. You know what I mean?
That's a good thing, because, I mean, what happens after every major tournament? I mean, did we see Sonya, Tyrande, or Arthas before, you know, the America Championship? No. Have you played Quick Match this week? They're everywhere. It's just part of it.
That's true.
You learn things from watching the pros, and the pros are going to be able to give you better information because of this, something like a target dummy being at it.
I'm just, you know what? I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm the pessimist of the group. So
I know. No, I gotta argue back. It's fun. It's a good back and forth. It's called podcasting.
Exactly. That's right. That's right. So, all right, let's talk about if you've watched the any of the Twitch streams or anything like that, you have seen some heroes being played that you are not used to seeing, and that's because there are a lot, or the ones that you are used to seeing are non-existent, and that is because there have been some buffs and some nerfs and some serious changes to some of these heroes. Obviously, as you go through the patch notes, you know, it starts with your assassins, and then it goes into your specialists, supports, and then finally your warriors. Really quick, and we're not going to go each one breakdown by breakdown, but here's something that I found very interesting. Under the assassin tree in Zeratul, his basic attack damage was reduced from 47 plus 13 per level to 47 plus 12 per level. So very, 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 very minor nerf there. Blink. The reactivation time for Wormhole is reduced from 3 seconds to 2 seconds, so you got to make your decision a little bit quicker. And the casting range of Void Prison was reduced by 50%. Now, with as much of a problem child as Zeratul has been, I don't think any of these changes were anything that I saw coming as far as like toning him down a little bit.
I think it still tones him down a little bit, though, especially the Void Prison thing. The casting range on Void Prison is really what gave him a lot of power, because he was able to cast that in, you know, various places without even being close to them.
Yeah, and, he could be like well far away before he could go through and drop it, not really have to like fully commit to an engage.
Well,
yeah,
but
I feel like that was the true power of Zeratul.
But as a stealthy, you know, I mean, yeah, you do it because you maximize the range because you want to, but as a stealthy, like, does it really change it very much other than the fact that you're a little bit closer when you drop it? I mean, they're still not going to see you whether you're 5 miles away or whether you're 2 inches away. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but you don't always use it when you're stealth either. You used it a lot in team fights when you're already revealed.
And also, if like a big engagement itself isn't going on, he's not hiding in a bush. A lot of times, it's just you can tell when there's a Zeratul nearby, and the fact that he now has to get in closer makes it easier to knock him out of stealth and get that engagement in.
Sure.
I think this was a very tricky ult to take care of because most people agree that it is the best ult in the game, and this is the happy medium between it staying as it was and it being straight up removed.
Yeah, because this is one where how do you balance it? It's not there's no damage figure that you can tweak or scaling that you can apply. You reduce its casting range. What's next? Reduce the duration. Increase the cooldown. Yeah,
increase the cooldown. Yeah, I think they're gonna play with it a little bit. But if this fixes it and makes it feel less like just an assassin having one of the best lockdown tools in the game, if this fixes that, then I think it'll probably just be left alone after that.
Yeah, I think the biggest change though is the wormhole talent. Just that, you have one less second to make a decision. Basically, that blink reactivation. That's a huge thing that Zeratul was able to do to get in, do some damage, to get right back out.
That's like one less swing.
That's right. 33%, 0.33
repeating of
0.3 repeating of
reduction. Yeah,
but I feel like that was the bigger nerf between the two.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see, but I think this really affects his ability to be as effective as he was at the pro level, because the main two talents that made him an auto ban and an auto pick are Wormhole and Void Prison, and they specifically address those.
Okay. Let's jump into the specialist world. The only specialists that so far have been touched on the patch notes and the PTR has been Abathur and Nazeebo. The weird thing with Abathur is that his initial locus. Now, anybody who's not played Abathur, basically, what is it? Every 8 seconds or something like that, you crap out this little locus, and it's just a little minion. It's a great tracker for figuring out where Abathur's at. If you see this little locust poop out of a bush, chances are he's sitting in that bush. But now, when that locust, the first locust, will not spawn until the first minion wave spawns. So I don't know how big of a deal that is. It's just a little. Obviously, it's a tweaking because the developer's comment said that Abathur's initial locust would previously sit idle until minions spawned. This change will allow Abathur to get in position before the first locust spawns at the start of the game. So that, to me, that doesn't say that it's because something was broken. It's just to line stuff up more. Am I reading that right?
It's a quality of life improvement.
Quality of life improvement
for Abathur.
Okay.
I mean, I've never played Heart of the Swarm, so I'm surprised to hear that he poops these things out.
He does, dude. He does. Here's what happens. Abathur goes out for like a Taco Tuesday, right? He's spicing it up. He's drinking the Budweiser Diesel. I mean, he's rocking it. He's pounding them down, doing a little bit of blow. And
wow.
I know. Hey, you know what? In the StarCraft world, it's all up. Now wait, blow for them is not the same blow for us. So if you guys are thinking drugs, it's different. Yeah. It's different, yeah. But yeah, blow, I mean, no. So, anyways, no, I don't want you guys to think I'm making drug references here. This is a totally different world. This is StarCraft world. Blow is different than what we know blow as being.
Yeah, it's like cotton candy.
Drugs.
It's like cotton candy.
It's exactly like cotton candy, you know, but it's like weird flavors. But anyhow, so yeah, it's Taco Tuesday, and I mean, he's just like, he can't wait to, I mean, when you're out in the middle of the woods, where do you crap? In a bush. Am I right?
True,
so why not him? He gets all relaxed in his little cocoon thing, and there it is. Okay. So
a little bit of Abathur lessons going on here.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know what?
I don't really research the lore. So
I was gonna say I don't want to. I'm not one to brag about my lore knowledge. I really not, but I'm not afraid to drop it when it needs to be dropped hot. Okay.
Much like an Abathur locust.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Right out of a bush.
Oh my god.
So, Nazeebo got turned down just a little bit. Spider attack damage decreased a little bit. The leaping spiders bonus damage decreased by 10%. Ravenous Spirit vision radius granted by the spirit increased by 66%.
That's pretty useful. I mean, it'll be nice for people who think they can escape. The corpse spider changes need to happen. I love Nazeebo, but
ridiculous.
He's out of control right now.
Mm-hmm. The funny thing that I find with the corpse spiders is that how many patches has it been that they've not wanted to touch corpse spiders, and it was even in like a lot of the developer comments that, you know, we want to make a couple changes and tone down some things, but we don't want to affect the spider build since that's working pretty well, but we have our eye on it, and you know, just patch after patch after patch, and then now finally, with not a lot of changes made to it, and Nazeebo himself being toned down little by little, and then now they finally decide, oh well, I guess we finally have to like nerf spiders.
And it's nice that they still leap. Like, I was worried they were going to take away the leap because it made them very useful late game. But a flat 25% was a bit much, so 15 will be big. Sure. Or will be still good, and they'll still leap, but it won't be, you know, I'm blowing people up who should probably get away. Because as soon as he got things of the deep, he was able to chuck those things into the back line, and
sure.
And people who were playing smart positionally were immediately punished. And the spiders are already kind of hard to see as it is, and if you're not paying attention, they can really suddenly pour the hurt on, and you can't get away.
Yep, if you don't have an AoE going, absolutely. Yeah. So let's jump into the support world. It looks like the only two people that are getting bumped around a little bit is Tassadar and Tyrande. Chat room will be very happy to know that I'm now pronouncing Tyrande correctly. Seemed to be a huge point of discussion last week. So, Tassadar, a lot going on. Have you guys read what's going on with him? How's he functioning?
His damage is getting nerfed pretty significantly, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean the bonus damage on the Archon is a full 40% nerf, and that's big. But I mean, he's going to be I mean, you saw it at the America's Championship where the Illidan no tank comp was primarily centered around Tassadar, and that got significantly stronger with this because now his shields are decreased. The amount they shield is decreased from 200 to 150, but the shield amount is now increased by 50% when cast on other allies.
Sure. Which
means they're now base shields for 225. And the scaling's a little lower, but basically and the mana cost is reduced and the cooldown is reduced, so they're basically rewarding players for playing Tassadar as a support. And
right.
If they're going to continue to list him as a support, he should have supporty things.
Absolutely.
The cooldown reduction is huge. Like that's a significant amount more plasma shields you're going to be able to place throughout the game.
Yeah, because you can save some people, especially late with those. It's a harder way to play support, but it also is very it's very punishing for the enemy team for them to attack into a shield that just basically means they've gotten nowhere.
Yeah.
Whereas if you heal and they attack through the heal, they're still reducing your life. All they're doing when they deal with shields is reducing the shield. So it's a different way to play support. But now I feel like you could actually solo. Cautiously, you can solo heal with Tassadar on certain comps.
Yeah. Well,
and I feel like
with leeching plasma, yeah.
I feel like that's what they're doing with Tassadar and Tyrande, though, is they're making it so that if you are to solo queue as either of these, and solo queue puts you in as the only support, you're not completely worthless anymore.
Right.
Like you were before, because it's like, well, shoot, we have a support, but we don't really have a support.
Right, exactly.
That's what these changes are doing on both these characters.
Yeah, both teams now have a support, and they have a monk, or they have a Lily, or whatever, and we have somebody who kind of technically fills that role, but doesn't.
Right.
So, and also, though, I mean, I was listening to another show this week, and they brought up some pretty good points about, like, just because they are support, does that mean that they should be limited to just healing? Like, you should be a healer, and it went back to the whole Blizzard world of focusing on, you've got the holy trinity of tank, DPS, and healer. And it's like, because Tassadar is listed as a support, but he doesn't heal, he has other tools that he does bring to the table. Should that make him a specialist? Possibly. But I don't know that if why and how our brains are wrapped around the fact that you're a support, you should be a healer. Period. That is your job, is to sit back and heal, regardless of what other blow and candy you can bring to the table. Right. It doesn't even matter.
Right. I feel like they should have had two categories there. They should have had just a straight healer category, and then a support category. And basically what support would do is allow you to do things like buff your allies, or possibly debuff your enemies, or things like that. And that's, instead of actual healing, they can do things that can affect the game a little bit differently.
Sure.
That way you have your straight healers, and you know exactly what they do. Whereas Tassadar and Tyrande, didn't really fit in those roles, but now they made them so that they will.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about Tyrande. I don't play Tyrande very much, which should be no surprise whatsoever, because until last week I wasn't even pronouncing her name right. So there should be minimal to no shock there. But I don't know. It's not that I dislike her. I don't dislike her. I just haven't played her very much because, again, like the whole discussion that we just had about her being a support, but not really. And I don't want to be that guy that queues up with Tyrande and, oh, thanks for being our quote support,
So now that they've changed her, do you think you will?
I don't know, because I don't know what any of these changes are. So why don't we talk about them?
Oh, all right. Well, basically, they're turning her shadow stock. It used to stealth your team and reveal the enemies.
Speaking of stealth, currently Balrog Fan BP is stealthed.
Stealth mode.
There we go. There.
Now, instead of revealing the team, you will oh man, you made me lose my thought. Are healed over 8 seconds, then receive a large burst of healing when Shadow Stalk expires. Now, as far as I understand, this is just going to be an AoE global heal, which means it doesn't matter where you are on the map, you will receive a heal from Tyrande when she activates Shadow Stalk. So that's huge. I mean, that makes her a healer. And the main thing, the reason you see her in pro play and you see her punish enemy teams who know how to take advantage of her, everybody thinks it's the Owl Snipes. It's not the Owl Snipes. It's the vision, the information that she gives you with Owl. So throwing her a global heal bone that sounds pretty strong, on top of still giving your allies stealth, and you can have information on the enemies. You don't have to make guesswork plays like they might be at boss, we have to check it. She can go, yes, no, they are at boss, they aren't at boss, So I think she's going to be a quality support. I don't think she unseats the best supports, but she's definitely in the conversation now. You can say like, well, they banned Uther and they banned Malfurion, we need to go Tyrande. Whereas before it was, Rhaegar or Monk, or she's in that conversation now. I think, anyways. Plus, she has one of the best traits in the game. Hunter's Mark is obnoxiously good.
I still think even with some of these buffs and stuff like that, it's going to be really hard to overcome what Blizzard has done with the Medic and the Monk. Which both of them have names, but I'm never going to refer to them as that.
Charism and Morales.
Yeah. So...
you could also refer to them Lieutenant Morals and Karazhan.
That's right, Lieutenant. I like that. Lieutenant, you show some damn respect around here.
Pronounce it right.
That's right. You do that. So, okay. Now, let's get into the lengthy list here. Because there are some changes. Yes, there's a ton of warrior changes. Now, they have what they did was they put their fingers inside Chen. They grabbed him by the heart. They turned him inside out. Okay, they've pretty much done a lot of work on Chen, which we've been looking for a while. A lot of people say, I'm here to tell you something, guys. A lot of people say, oh, Chen just, he just stands there and drinks, and he just does this or whatever, blah, 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 and he's not really a viable tank. He is not a viable tank to an inexperienced person. I've seen Chens that are nightmares. I've played with Chens that are nightmares. Zex is in the chat room right now. One of the best Chen players I've ever seen in my life, to the point that I stopped playing Chen. I stopped playing Chen because I'm just like, I feel like Dad's watching me, and I'm like, don't worry about me. I'm just a stupid guy that doesn't know how to play Chen. And so I think Chen has always been very viable. He just wasn't the top pick because there's other better tanks that have better utility and better abilities that fill that void. But anyway, he got a whole bunch of reworking. Zex in the chat room earlier said he wasn't super happy about it. But what do you guys think? What's going on with him, and what are your thoughts on it? I
mean, I personally feel like Chen is his role as a a off tank in a dive comp has only been made better with these changes. I think he really, because the problem with Chen is he doesn't have any true hard CC lockdown. But what he does have is the ability to beat people up who get close to your carries and dive on the enemy carries. And if you have a true tank supplement that, someone like Johanna or Leoric or whatever, he fills a great role, especially if you're doing something like an Illidan, Tyrael, you know, with an Abathur, things like that. He really excels in those type of comps, and these changes really just cement that. I mean, his shield amount is up. His brew regenerates in increments of 5. He's got more options on how he builds now. He has new abilities like Grounding Brew, which just increases all incoming ability damage by 25% while channeling Fortified Brew. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Because if they're going, you know, if they've got Jaina, that's just me taking 25% less damage in a blizzard and shielding through it. Flying speed. Go ahead.
I think one of the biggest changes really is they've removed the brew cost from both the ults.
That's also
so
weird.
you don't have to worry about having enough brew to pop the ult. Many times I've been playing Chen and wanted the ult and realized that I couldn't. So I think this is a really good quality of life change. I definitely want to play around with them more once this patch comes out because this sounds like some really fun additions to his toolkit.
Agreed. And yeah, when I read these originally, I thought to myself, you know, like, it seems like he's getting a whole bunch of love, you know, not like a whole bunch of change just to try and make him different than what he was before, to make him a little bit more attractive, you know, give him a little bit more flair. But it really does seem to me that I mean, they've really, I thought that I was surprised to see Zex in chat say that Chen is horrible on the PTR. I was really surprised to hear that. So anyways, on the paper, the napkin math to me does not look like he's going to be hurting anytime soon. So anyways, time will tell on that, and we'll be playing a lot of the heroes that have been changed you know, during the second portion of the Heroes Power Hour in the weeks to come. So let's talk about, now here is one hero that I thought to myself, wow, this must be PTR, because who still plays Diablo? And they made some changes to him. Let's talk about what's going on with him, because he obviously is super appealing now. Post Diablo world, you know, all the Diablo maps are released. We gave free Diablos and everything like that, and it was like the whole theme based around him, and he was like one of the worst heroes in the game. But that is now flipped. Sorry, I just think that's ironic, don't you think?
Yeah, I really do think.
Yeah. It's like rain. Sorry.
He's more. It's kind of like what they did with Chen. He's more suited for his role, and they say that even in the developer comments, that they want to reinforce him as the premier gank warrior, which is what he's good at. He's good at setting up your team to isolate a target and get that target destroyed. He's got a huge body, he's got a lot of health, he can pick people up, he can put them back down, and he can push them away into your team. And that's what he's always been good at. The problem is they really toned down his health and his ability to do anything outside of that, and he's easily locked down. Now, with extra range on Shadow Charge, a damage increase on Fire Stomp, the Domination trait basically makes, when you hit with an Overpower, if you choose to take the talent, makes Overpower turn Shadow Charge into almost a non-existent cooldown. Maximum health increase on Black Soul Stone. It's a lot of things that he needed just to be able to survive and do what he's supposed to do. And I miss playing Diablo quite a bit, so I might try him out again, you know.
Sure. And again, a lot of these changes, once you know, with the right comp, the comp is everything. If you're playing one of these heroes all by your lonesome and whatever, and you're just getting destroyed because, you know, players aren't capitalizing on the things that you're doing, or vice versa, or you don't have the right hero, you know, comp is a lot of this, guys. So look at these changes and think about how to expand upon you know, the comp that you play with your friends, or you know, the comp that you get dumped into in quick match and stuff like that. How can we make the most of what we've got there? So, and that should be with anything, not just with these new talents. So, so all right. Well, yeah, you're going to see a lot of Diablo play on the old PTR. So make sure that if you see him, you can check out kind of what's going on there. So let's talk about ETC.
Just, again, more enforcement of what he's supposed to be able to do. His health took a pretty major hit recently and his ability to sustain, and they kind of brought that back in line a little bit. He's supposed to be somebody who disrupts the enemy team's positioning and then locks people down who were bad at, or who were caught out in bad situations. Extra health scaling and base health, longer stun on power slide, mana decrease on face melt, cooldown decrease on face melt. If you talent into mic check, the cooldown reduction is increased. Guitar solo now has better healing and healing per level. The mana reduction in Pawn Shop Guitar is 40 to 60. Bonus healing granted per regeneration globe is increased from 2 to 3 if you took Prog Rock. I mean, they're just, it's buffs across the board, and they're all kind of geared towards making him not run out of mana, giving him a little less on his cooldown, a little more on his stun, and a lot more sustain.
And that is so huge, because every time I ever played ETC, I was like, all right, I'm back in the fight, and I'm out of mana.
Yep. Yeah, I'm out of mana, and oh god, I'm dead.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And maybe I can get Guitar Solo off, maybe just enough to possibly get back to the healing fountain, but Power Slide is out of the question, you know?
Yeah, and ever since all these changes, pretty consistently, if you go to hotslogs.com, the lowest 3 heroes with a win rate was ETC, Diablo, and Stitches. And guess who all got major changes and buffs across the board? Those 3. And that's what I want to see. I don't want to see people at the top nerfed down. I want to see people down at the bottom brought up to be in a better position, so you have actual options. Just constantly nerfing people isn't a good way to approach your game. I've never felt that way. So
yeah.
I like that they're doing this.
Cool.
Definitely.
Cool. Let's bump right along into Nine Ball's girlfriend, Johanna. I'm sorry, dude.
Boo.
Yeah, your boo. I've played Johanna once.
Yep.
So
this was one that I actually saw coming for a while, because ever since she first came out, Knight Takes Pawn was like my favorite talent. It's just an instant pick for level 1 with how she just decimates entire mob waves from level 1 through the entire game. So they're reining in the damage and the stun. So now it's going to be 300% extra damage as opposed to 400, and the stun is getting decreased from 4 seconds down to 3, which, you know, it's really needed. It's not going to affect like the late game as much, because she's still going to be able to go through and just kind of like one shot a group of mobs, you know, with condemn and then sweep. But, you know, the early game is going to make a difference, because when you can counter push almost any other hero from so early, it's way too powerful of a talent.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that the developers talked about in Vegas a little bit. They were like, we're definitely concerned about specifically Johanna and Luark, and their wave clear is just so good that they are those top picks for drafting and stuff like that. And not surprised at all to see these changes. I'm a little bummed because I love playing them, but I don't think they're too big of changes that will reduce them from play too much.
They're still good tanks. They don't have every option in the book anymore, because giving them wave clear on top of how good the tanks they were. I mean, Johanna made night camp pulls almost inconsequential. She would just run up and throw a condemn or 2 on them, and suddenly the hard work and the effort you took to capping a camp was immediately nullified by one talent cast once or twice.
And then the other changes, they're reducing the stun duration of Blessed Shield. So that way it's going down from 2 seconds to 1.5, and then the additional enemies are going from 1 second to 3/4 of a second. It was one of those ones where it's like the stun was such the big thing of Blessed Shield. Is like, why ever take Falling Sword over Blessed Shield? Sure. It was such a massive stun.
I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're talking to a very non-experienced Johanna player, so I can't capitalize on that whatsoever, my friend. I have to leave you hanging at this point.
Yep,
So.
and then the level 20 talent, the Radiating Faith, which used to double Blessed Shield's range, so that way it could go further. If you were trying to just grab someone that was running away, it no longer doubles the range. It does still increase the stun duration up to what was now the old stun duration, the 2 seconds for the first target and 1 second for the additional targets, but it doesn't have that increased range on it. So it's just one of those ones to try and bring it a little bit more in line, I guess, to make Falling Sword more tempting.
Sure.
Yep.
Cool. Anything else on that? Sorry. Again, I wish I had something more to say, but I don't know what any of I don't know any of that speak at all.
I think they're just very expected changes, and they just are what they are. There isn't too much to discuss about them. I feel like.
Yep. No, I agree. I'm with you, Twiz. I don't play a lot of Joe. I mean, I'm familiar with Johanna and Leoric's work, but I'm not really fans of them, so I don't play.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So, okay, now look, as if it wasn't blatantly obvious enough, Rexxar had a few bugs in him when he first launched out. It looks like they're making some pretty significant, or not, I don't know if significant is the word that I should use in that, but like here's some of the changes that they're making. The Misha Fixate is going to have two functions depending on its target. If Misha Fixate is used on an enemy, she's going to move to that target and stay on that target until it dies or new orders issued, or Misha dies. If Misha Fixate is used on the ground, she's going to go to that area and hold that position until the new order is issued, so or she dies. So that's one of the changes they're making to that. Using Misha Fixate will automatically place Rexxar's passive into the Misha Follow state, and Misha retains her current behavior when issuing commands using Misha Follow and Misha Attack. So they're making her a little bit more, I don't know if it's versatile or more... what's the word I'm looking for?
Control over where she heads.
More control over her, yes, and what she's doing. So kind of a neat thing. Misha's leash range has been significantly increased. There's no percentage or range given on that. So you're just going to have to dink with that in game. Misha will now hide when Rexxar is hidden in a bush instead of having a big old bare ass hanging out. And then Spirit Swoop, the Bird of Prey talent, bonus damage to non-heroic targets has been reduced from 300 to 200. So...
yeah, this is just in line to the Johanna and Leoric changes as well, helping to eliminate as significant a wave clear as Rexxar had.
Yep. So I just wanted to bring those changes up, only because Rexxar is one of the newest heroes. Again, not a hero that I'm super experienced with, because a little underwhelming. You can watch a few episodes back. Not underwhelming. That's a poor phrase, but not my play style is maybe what I should say. Not my play style.
He's a map specialist. I'm finding him to be a real nightmare on Dragonshire. He's hard to deal with on that map.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, his ability to control the zone with Misha and wave clear and slow and all those things. Misha's stun and the way how fast Misha moves is very disruptive, especially when you're split. Your lane is essentially 3-on-2 when you're trying to cap a shrine. So, Rexxar can play a bit back and send Misha to do the work, while Misha's damage is good enough to actually do the work, and Rexxar can cap a shrine, things like that. And he's great at clearing camps, which is important on that map and Blackheart's Bay.
I love you. Okay, so.
Wow.
So,
yeah, like I haven't played a much Rexxar, but I played like 2 or 3 games, and I was like, wow, I can't control Misha enough for me to really like this hero. But now I feel like I'll try out Rexxar more, and it sounds like I'll enjoy playing Rexxar more now.
Sure.
And we're finally getting to a hero that JR likes to play in Stitches.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and so here's the thing, guys. Like earlier this week, I was playing against I don't even, it was a quick match, and it wasn't during Free Stitches week or anything like that, but I was playing against Stitches, and he was pretty good Stitches, and I thought to myself, maybe like he went through these nerfs, and, he's not the primary tank pick anymore, But maybe like, you know, maybe he's like still super viable and people just have shied away from him because he's got the reputation of, oh, hey guys, remember me? I got nerfed to hell and back, so, you know, nobody plays. And so as I was playing against the Stitches, I was like, wow, maybe this is a thing, you know. So I played with him. His damage was underwhelming, and I got my butt handed to me a lot. And I was like, no, I don't think I missed the boat on that. I don't think I did. But with the in this PTR, Stitches has gotten a little bit of love, I would say. So
just a little.
Yeah. So let's break it down and let's talk about the magic that's going on with Sir Stitches a lot.
So in line with like Charlie was saying, the 3 bottom heroes were EDC, Diablo, and Stitches. They've all gotten fairly significant, I feel like, health increases. Also, block talent was removed, regen master was removed, imposing presence was removed. Stone skin was added to level 16. Just gives them a bit more survivability. And these 2 new talents at level 1 are pretty darn good. Dampen magic every 8 seconds gains a charge that reduces damage from next incoming enemy ability by 50%, and you can store up to 2. And the one that I think is just slightly ridiculous is Hungry for More. Collecting regen globes permanently increases maximum health by 30.
By 30.
So I was watching a game, a stream, and someone had like 7,000 HP on Stitches. It was pretty insane.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah, you were saying like at level 7, like 3,100 HP at level 7.
Something like that. It was insane.
I mean, that's still not too crazy. Diablo used to get up to 10k.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. That's a nightmare to have to deal with. The Hook, the Helping Hand talent, now also reduces Hook's cooldown by 8 seconds when pulling an ally.
Still will never use it.
It's never going to get used. Never going to get used. But
I mean, you still, at that level, the other option is the one that increases the Hook's range, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And that's the clear choice. So
it's cute though. I mean, Helping Hand, I guess, might. No, never mind. Nope, it's garbage.
Slam the mana cost reduced from 45 to 40. A little bit of a mana reduction, obviously, but I think it's going to play a big part overall, because if you're farming globes and you have your mana cost reduced and stuff like that, you're going to be around a lot longer. And I mean, maybe I was playing Stitches wrong or whatever, but I wasn't mana starved, but I kind of always felt like I was in that 40% range. You know, where it's like, it's not worth going all the way back to hit a well, but yet I know if all, you know, if it all goes down and, you know, the ships come bombing, I'm not going to have enough mana to do much of anything. So that is where I see the payoff coming on that one.
Definitely. One thing we glossed over too, I think we did anyways, he gets Stone Skin at 16 now.
Yep.
That is the quintessential tank talent that you need a lot of the times to survive when you're going in, and him getting a free button that gives him a free shield is pretty huge, because it's based off your health. So
yeah, if the talents are staying the same though, that you're giving up the increased range on Hook.
That's fine. I'll take Stone Skin all day and just be better with the hooks.
Yeah, exactly.
So now I can walk forward with a lot more health and a big shield.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. What else, guys? What else is worth talking about here for Stitches besides the ridiculous health increases?
Well, the Gorge got increased, so you can take people a little bit further back, because that's kind of changed how they had done it before, because they had reduced it, and now they brought it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is his movement speed.
Yeah.
Is no longer reduced.
I played a game earlier with Medic, and I got taken for a ride halfway across Sky Temple in a gorge.
Yep.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Yeah, I forgot. That will be nice. Now, usually, obviously, when you get to your heroic ability, most people play around Gorge. They don't get too close to a wall with Stitches that still has, you know, that's still up.
Doesn't matter. You don't have to be close to a wall. Just level 20, blink, run across the map. You're in your base.
Oh my god.
I like your style. So, anyways, now as far as warriors go, that's that. I mean, these are just the high points, guys, and they're worth discussing. As Balrog fan said earlier, you know, most of these changes are gospel, but not concrete. So anything is up in the air. They may realize, oh my God, you know, a Stitch is at level 7 with 3,100 health is just insane. So you know, things may get changed. So you know, it's going to be worth, you know, looking around or whatever. And for those of you who just joined the chat room, first off, welcome. But secondly, if you missed the first portion of this, it's going to be available on the BlizzPro YouTube channel tomorrow morning that you can watch as well. So
there was one major bug fix.
What's that?
Allied heroes will no longer tell Leoric to use a healing fountain while he's in Undying form. It really confused Leoric players. I saw a lot of Leoric ghosts just standing by the well while an Uther was yelling at them, and he didn't know what to do. So this, to pull a phrase from DJ, the quality of life change for Leoric here.
Oh, huge. Absolutely huge. No, yeah, nobody's the boss of him.
Yeah.
Nobody's
he
the boss
doesn't
of him.
need to drink. He's dead, guys. Come on.
True statement.
Well, here's another one about Leoric being Undying. Gargantuan will no longer continue to follow Leoric when he's entered Undying.
That's actually very good. No, there are some very nice. I mean, there's a lot of little bug fixes. Most of the stuff you don't notice, or it's happened once or twice, and really only very observant players have probably encountered this, unless it's a major bug. And major bugs are usually hot fixed right away. So these are all little things. So there's no point really going into them like hardcore. It's just they're always tuning little things, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the show notes are on the front page of the Battle.net Heroes site, so you guys can read them for yourself, decide for yourself what's going to go on. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, hit us up, podcast@blizzpro.com. Let us know what your thoughts are on this, and you know, kind of go from there. So, gentlemen, I hate to make this you know, quick or anything like that, but was there anything else on the patch notes that you wanted to address before we start shooting off into round 2?
I'm good.
Yeah,
we went through the whole thing.
Went through everything, all the hero changes. So
yeah,
we're good.
And Jimmy's hair didn't move a bit.
Chen Imperial's prices are reduced.
That's right.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Chen's going to cost 7K gold, and Tyrael costs 4K gold. That's $849 US for Chen, and $649 US for Tyrael.
That's right. That's right. So saving money, and keeping the people happy. So, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into the second portion of the show real quick. Guys in the chat room, hang out because it's about to get insanely fun. Those of you listening to on iTunes, if you guys want to watch the second portion, it's going to be available on the BlizzPro YouTube channel. And as always, it is much appreciated. 5-star reviews help us get to the better rankings of iTunes there. When people type in Heroes of the Storm into iTunes, the more 5-star ratings that we have, the better chance they have of finding us. So if you like what we're doing, please help spread the word. We are going to be here every night, twitch.tv/BlizzPro on Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. And I do also want to mention really quick that there's other shows that happen. There's West March Workshop that 9ball's on, and what are the times for that?
You'll find us Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.
Okay. And that is all things Diablo 3. And I do Twizcast on Monday night, which covers all of your news under the Blizzard Entertainment logo. That's everything from World of Warcraft, Diablo, a little bit of StarCraft, more StarCraft coming out, Overwatch, Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, everything like that. A good time is had by all. And also, guys, unrelated to gaming, Charlie does do a podcast called Flask Action Heroes, and it's actually a phenomenal show. They drink a lot. They talk a lot about movies. They completely break movies down. And it is probably one of the most hilarious shows I've ever listened to. Even if he wasn't a friend of mine and a co-host on the show, I would still talk about that. So Flask Action Heroes, make sure you guys are checking that out.
Thanks. We just did the Guy Ritchie movie Revolver. That should be coming up soon.
All right.
It was terrible.
All right. It was terrible.
It was bad. Like Andre 3000 playing chess bad.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it. So,
Hey, Twiz.
Yes, sir.
Also, Sunday nights, Well Met.
Yeah.
Hearthstone.
I'm sorry about that, dude.
I think I've heard of a
sorry.
Well Met podcast.
Yeah, we did have one more. I knew that. So
yeah, I think one of those hosts just hit legend.
They did.
There's 2 of the 3 hosts are now legend.
I won't say which host isn't legend.
And we will not talk about which host is not.
He is a Royals fan, though.
He is a Royals fan. You will see him some. It's
he's
quite
a legendary
Really
Royals fan.
But it doesn't matter because I'm the best player.
That's
So.
true.
That's
That's
true.
true.
That's true.
Yeah,
Obviously.
you've
Obviously.
like gone deep in tournaments, right? And they
I've
haven't,
won
so
tournaments.
who cares?
I've won tournaments.
Exactly.
That's what
There
matters.
you go. That's what matters. So
You don't need no card back to prove how good you are.
oh my god, you guys are hilarious. But yeah, obviously, so
Just
so
try and close this show out.
that's
guys. I dare
our
you.
that's our Hearthstone show. Well met, very 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 excellent news, information, and stuff like that. So BlizzPro.tv, or I'm sorry, Twitch.tv/BlizzPro is the thing to have bookmarked and the place to go. So stick around for part 2 of the Heroes of the Storm Power Hour. We are going to be right back with all sorts of team comp, diving into the Nexus goodness. So we will catch you guys next week, and the people in the chat room will catch you in about 2 minutes. See ya.